In 2003, the philosopher Nick Bostrom posed one of the most disturbing questions of the modern age. What if we are living in a computer simulation? Years later, this idea spread from Silicon Valley to popular science. Figures like Elon Musk have said that the probability of us being in bassed reality may be extremely low, because if technology advances far enough, it seems theoretically possible to produce simulations inhabited by conscious beings. But perhaps what is truly surprising is this. This question may not be new, because centuries ago, great thinkers living in the mystical heart of the East were also saying that reality is deeper, more fragile, and more mysterious than it appears. Ibn Arabi did not call it a simulation. He looked at it as something like a great dream. As modern science looks at the universe, it has begun to see it not only as a structure made of solid objects, but also as a system that processes information. When we descend to the smallest level of matter, we do not find the kind of solid world we are used to in everyday life. We see probabilities, relations, fields, and mathematical orders. For this reason, some physicists and thinkers suggest that at the most fundamental layer of the universe lies the concept of information. This idea is taken even further in approaches such as digital physics. Perhaps reality may have a structure that is more computable, more code-like, than we assume. Think of a video game. The player sees only the world in front of them, but behind that image there is an unseen system. There are rules, there are limits, there is processing. Some interpret the constants and limits of the universe through this lens as well. For example, the speed of light. Is it merely a physical limit, or is it a sign of a deeper structure underlying the way the universe operates? This is not something we know for certain, but the question is fascinating. If reality resembles a kind of software, what is the source of this order? And why is it this way? When we return to ancient wisdom, we see that the same mystery is being expressed in a completely different language. In Sufi thought, the world is understood not as an absolute and independent reality, but as a temporary, reflective, and layered experience. In Ibn Arabi's thought, being is not merely a collection of objects standing outside us. The visible world is one of the appearances of a deeper truth. For this reason, some place his ideas alongside modern simulation theory. Of course, the two are not exactly the same thing. One proposes a technological model, the other offers a metaphysical perspective, but both ask the same question. Is what we see really the final layer? In Sufism, there is the idea that the universe is recreated at every moment. In other words, existence is not a static scene, but a continuously renewed state of becoming. If we think of this through a modern analogy, it is as if reality is not a single solid block, but a flow that is being processed anew at every moment, like a strip of film, like a projection, like a rendering process, and perhaps our senses perceive only the seamless-looking surface of this flow. According to this perspective, the human being is not merely a body living inside the world. At the same time, the human being is a witness capable of sensing what lies beyond what is seen. So, if reality is a more flexible experience than we think, how does a human being awaken within this system? Perhaps the answer is not in forcing the outside world to change, but in transforming the mind that experiences it. There is a common point between modern thought and ancient teachings. The state of the observer affects the quality of experience. In other words, how you look at the world changes what you notice and what you consider real. Silence, intention, attention, and inner clarity. These are not only spiritual concepts, but may also be tools that reorganize perception. Overthinking, fear, constant mental noise. Perhaps they magnify not truth itself, but only the interference created by the mind. And sometimes, the deepest thing a person can do is not to try to control life, but to reduce the noise within it. Perhaps hacking the system means purifying the consciousness that looks at the world before trying to change the world itself. Perhaps reality is a machine. Perhaps it is a projection, or perhaps it is a great dream. There is something more important than whatever name we give it: the consciousness that experiences it. Because pixels may change, images may change, interpretations may change, but the human desire to seek truth always remains the same. Perhaps the real question is not this: is this world real? Perhaps the real question is this: how awake am I within the thing I am experiencing?